That's fine. No, it's not. Ah, come on.
That's such a good intro.
So, what's in the box, you say? This is what's in the box. When you first open it, you'll find a wedding ring. Don't worry about the size. You'll never wear this on your finger. So if you have large and thick fingers like me, you probably won't fit this ring. You never need to wear it during the routine. It's basically a practice ring, even though I use it at most of my performances, to be completely honest. But you can use pretty much any ring. This is just so you have a ring to get started with. Then there's a magnet the size of a semi-small coin. Then you get in this beautiful, nice display 3 regular safety pins. Okay, be careful. They have a pointy end. You probably know that already. If you, like me, you opened it up and pulled them out before you started, so sorry about that. Please be careful. We're not liable for any injuries regarding the needles. Neither me nor Murphy's. And then we have the tin. Now, to be completely honest, this tin looks banged up because it's been used every single day since I got this set from the factory that made them. Yours will look nice and crisp and new and shiny, and it's completely up to you if you want to give it some wear and tear by carrying it in your pocket with coins, keys, whatever, or you want to keep it pristine. That's up to you. But inside the tin, you will find 2 gimmicked safety pins. We'll get into those in a second. Please don't play around too much with them before you listen to the instructions, as they're sturdy, but just so you know the general idea of how they work before you actually start using them. But let's get into shrapnel. Ow! Great. When you open your tin, you'll find not 1, but 2 of these specially made gimmicks. And to be completely honest, these aren't original, groundbreaking magic gimmicks, but they're fairly unknown to the magic community, as far as I know. It's known as the cut pin or the Andrus pin. And it dates back to at least the 1950s, if not further back. What it is basically is a safety pin that's been welded together at the top, so you can't open it. Beats the purpose of a safety pin, but for this trick, it'll do. And then they've turned the pin around, and the pin has been given a cut at one of the sides, right here. Okay. Now the original cut pin and the Andrus pin, as far as I know, had like a very rough cut on the pin. It worked for the routines that they were supposed to work with, but it has some disadvantages. So I've had the manufacturer cut the pin at a specific angle. That's why you'll see that your pin has been cut at an angle. And this makes it easier to perform the different sleights that I'm going to teach you soon on this download. So bear that in mind when you go through it, that this pin is designed for these specific kind of routines, but you can use it for lots of other different stuff as well. So this is the cut pin / Andrus pin / modern day safety pin miracle. Thank you. Let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy. Great.
I'm so nervous already.
You don't have to be, Mitch. I mean, you're the camera guy and the director and the sound guy and the lighting technician. You've got enough to be worried about. Don't be nervous about my magic. So the thing is, to you guys at home, this is Mitch. He's the one that I don't know, makes this look like this.
No, you made it.
Yeah, I actually, it's my own responsibility. I have 3 kids, but you can see it. It's now. So Mitch, we weren't supposed to use Mitch here today, but all the people we kidnapped downstairs, they sort of got out through the fire escape. So
yeah,
we're stuck with you.
Fix that.
We need to fix that, yeah, definitely. No, Mitch. I mean, you know what we're filming now, but just to give the people a general idea of how the routine's structured. I mean, you can also see the live reactions.
Yeah.
But let's try this, you and me. So, Mitch, do you know what this is?
It's a ring and a safety pin.
It is. Could you please hold your hand out? Mitch, now as you see, the safety pin is linked onto the ring, or vice versa right now, okay? Now, let's say this could be like a Chinese puzzle. I don't know if that's politically correct to say today, but it could be like a different kind of puzzle. How would you get the ring off the pin if you were to now, just any way you want it? Ooh, that's smart.
Easy.
Yeah, okay, I mean, you guys are far away, but Mitch, he just opened up the pin like a boss. That's it. And you have the ring. Great. That's a good way of doing it. That's really, like, practical, modern, like a real man's man move. Like, oh, I opened it up with
I
mice.
didn't even push it through. I just like...
You just opened it up, yeah, through that now. That looked really cool. I love that. I love that. I'm more of an artsy guy. I'm trying to get a hold of my masculinity and but I'm more like a watch. So I show you the pin. I show you the ring. Then I take the pin. Look, it's not even opened. It's closed like before because we closed it. And watch, I do this. I wiggle it around in my hand and I say, boop, and I drop it into my hand. Look, and it's linked.
Oh my God,
Mitch.
it is.
That is amazing. Completely linked. Watch, I'll do this again very slowly. I'll show you this. Very slowly, watch. And it melts through. It looks amazing, at least from my angle. I'm not sure.
That's so good.
Oh,
you're not just saying that.
You're not just
it looks
saying.
so good.
Thanks. And you don't even know if you're getting paid yet. So he means it. Mitch, can you hold out your hand, please, for me? Just, yeah, the left one, that'll be fine. Watch, if I put the ring in your hand like this. Now watch, you can see this up close as I do this. I go spirally motion like this. Watch. It feels good, doesn't it? It looks good. Watch, if you keep your hand up like this, I'll blow.
Not very COVID friendly.
No, not very COVID friendly. Sorry about that. So the pin melts off. And look, it's still closed. No, Mitch and I, we've both been tested, and that's, yeah.
And we're basically living together for the next 2-3 days.
Oh no, come on. We need to get this done then. If you just move your hand out of the way. And watch, this is the best part. I go. Edit point.
Edit point.
Edit point. This has been working every single time. And then you go like this, watch me. I still want to keep this in because we're having such a good rapport. So this is just it. And now, can you snap your fingers, Mitch? And now the pin falls off. I take my bow. Normally you clap at this point, but it's completely up to you. That's good. And you can have these. These are not the ring. You can have. You can look at it. Okay, so that's it. Now you try and do the same thing, because that's a good way to end the magic trick. Yeah, okay, be smart about it. Just open up the pin. That's good.
Like you went through all the effort of making the trick manufacturer. It's like,
why not? That's like that YouTuber. That's
yeah,
Gabby.
Get him to react to the trick.
Yeah, exactly. Open up. Oh, that would be. Guys, thank you to Midge. You're applauding at home. I can feel it. Someone just threw their underwear at the webcam. That's.
Oh.
Neil Henry, put them back on.
That's actually very fun.
Thank you so much, man. Cool. Now get back to work. Now let me just do a quick run through of the routine that I just showed Mitch. I thought since you guys are learning this, you might want to see it from the front as well. This is the pin, the ring, and me keeping my mouth shut for the next 30 seconds or so, as if that was possible. Looks like this.
How many takes?
100.
Yeah.
this is the basic setup for the routine that you just watched me perform. Now, this is how I carry my tin in my pocket pretty much every single day. And you can use this to get into most of the routines that I'm going to teach you on this set. But you want to take the magnet and place it into the tin like this. You want it in the corner when you look at the tin like this, you want it on the far right lowermost corner of the tin, just here. And then you take the regular safety pin and link it onto the finger ring, and you place that into the tin on top of the magnet. Now you close the tin, and then you place the tin on top of the gimmicked safety pin in your hand. So now this is the setup on the back of the tin. You have the gimmicked safety pin, or the key pin as we might refer to it later. When you open it up, you have the normal safety pin with the finger ring on it and the magnet in the tin. Now this goes into your back pocket when you're ready to perform. If you're just going out to your gig or out on town with your friends, whatever, to a family party, wherever you perform, I don't know where you perform, but whenever you go out not in performance mode, take the gimmicked pin, place it in the tin like this. It's a live one. Place it in the tin like this. Then you won't accidentally damage the pin or lose it or something. So now you have everything nice and concealed inside the tin. Because of the magnet, they won't make pretty much won't make any sound. Now this is actually completely quiet now, so you can just put it in your pocket, no problems, no nothing, and that's it. So the setup for the routine, very simple. Now there's a quick way of remembering it with a small, nice rhyme, and that is put the magnet in the tin, put the ring on the pin, put the pin and the ring in the tin, and put the gimmick pin underneath the tin in the pocket in. I just made that up, but it actually works. Try it in front of the mirror or online in front of all your followers. Please don't do that. So when you're ready to perform shrapnel, you take out your tin. Remember, there's a gimmick and a regular pin and a ring and a magnet inside. So before you approach the table or the group of people that you're performing for, you open up the tin, you take out the gimmicked pin, close the tin, place the pin on the back of the tin. There's that rhyme again. So now you're ready. Place the tin on your hand, open hand like this. This is a very open, fair display. And I mean, now you can lift up the tin like this. If you're careful and don't push the pin accidentally, you can just let it stay there. No one will see this as long as you don't flash the bottom. So just be aware of that. So say, I want to show you something. Watch. And you open up the tin. Now, this is important. It's not a deal breaker if they see the magnet, but there's no need to show them the magnet. So what I do is I don't put too much attention on what's inside the tin. I don't do this. I just open up the tin, I pull out the pin and the ring like this. Okay, I keep the tin lid like this so they won't see the magnet. If they see the magnet, it has the same color. It could be anything lying in there, and the magnet isn't that important for the effect. It's just for what I'm going to show you in a second, and to make sure that it doesn't make too much noise in your pocket. But general rule, don't put too much attention on it, and again, it's your performance. You decide what you want to show people, what you want to put an emphasis on. And in this case, I open up a tin to show them something that's coming from the tin, and that's it. So now I hand them the pin and the ring. Remember, this is the regular pin that can be opened. And then I close the tin, and remember, I have the hidden gimmicked pin, the key pin underneath. So as the spectator takes the ring and the pin, we'll get into patter later when I go through the full routine, but you hand it to them and they open the pin, and all focus is on the pin and the ring. So I just take the box, I put it in my back pocket, and as I do that, I just jam my whole hand down there in my back pocket, and I slide off the tin and I keep a hold of the gimmicked pin. And as my hand comes out, I have two options now. I can either bring it out and palm it, hiding it secretly in my hand. There's no real palm here, at least in the stand-up version. We'll get to a sit-down version later on. But if you want to, you can try to finger palm it. It's a bit slippery, so it's not that easy to finger palm a pin like this, unless you open it. And, oh, you can't open this, so that wouldn't make sense. The other one you can open and just jam your... No, don't do that. It's not easy palming a pin like this. You could thumb palm it if you want to, but I normally just keep it in my fingers, hand down by my side. It's not important like this. So in a finger palm-y position, or a finger rest position, more like that. With my hand just relaxing and keeping track of where the pin is in my hand. So now I can, as I said, two options. I can pull my hand out, look at them, take the pin that they've just removed the ring from. If they close it, perfect. If not, I just take it and I close it myself. So now, I'll put the ring away just for a second. So now I grab the pin from them, move it to my right hand. Okay, remember I have a finger palmed gimmicked pin in my hand. And as I do that, I swing my hand down to my side. No one's chasing me at this point. There's no magic. They've just seen the pin. They've opened it, maybe closed it again. This is a regular safety pin. It's not like an ornamental box with dragons on it and secret doors and stuff. This is just a regular item as far as they're concerned. So I take the pin. I'm not afraid now, but I'm going to do a very bold switch. I'm going to swing my hand down by my side as I take the ring from them, and I'm going to bring the pin back into view. And now I've switched the pin. So now this is the gimmicked pin. This is a very bold, very easy, pretty much self-working switch, but it takes a little bit of getting used to doing something that open right in front of people. But we'll get into it. So basically what I've done is I've taken the real pin, the gimmick pin in my finger palm, real pin at my fingertips. So my right hand is doing something as my left hand is doing something else. But let's take the right hand first. Right hand is swinging down to my side. And down here, the pin is going to get stuck to the magnet in my back pocket. So the magnet inside the tin. So I'm going to swing down and just place it on the outside of the pants pocket, so it sticks to the magnet. And then as my hand moves back out, I push the gimmick pin into view. And it's so fast. Like, the movement is something like this. Take the pin with my right hand, hand swings down, and it comes back up. Nothing to it. But what makes this work and makes this fly by the spectators is that as I take the pin, I focus my attention on the ring that they're holding. Okay, so I either just go for the ring and use this as misdirection for my hand swinging down and placing the... Oh, sorry. This is hard explaining and doing in slow motion at the same time. So what's going on is I camouflage the actions of my right hand with my left hand and with the focus of my eyes. So as this hand goes down towards my back pocket or the outside of my back pocket, my left hand focuses all its attention on the left ring and my eyes. I look at the spectator, I look at the ring, and I go to grab it while my hand swings down. So now all focus is here on my left hand as the switch is happening in my right hand. So people will forget this motion of me just my hand relaxing by my side and coming back up. And remember, it's not like the hand's not hiding behind the back and doing a quick switch behind the back. It's just slowly going down to the side, ditching the real pin on the working pin on the magnet, and pushing out the gimmick pin. So, and the push out is just the thumb pushing it up, so it's approximately at the same position. So yeah, the action gets hidden by me retaking the ring from the spectator. So that's basically the switch. So that's the first variation, where you immediately bring out the hidden gimmicked pin in your hand after you've put the box away or the tin away. The second version that I most often use is putting the tin and the gimmick in your pocket, but secretly retaining the gimmick in your fingers as you pull your hand out, and then immediately placing the gimmick on the outside of the pants pocket for later retrieval, like in a few seconds. Quick note here, when you put the tin in your pocket, you don't want it towards the middle of your body, like towards the butt section of the body. You want it on the outer side, so on the right side, as far to the right in the pocket as possible. So closer to here than to here, if that makes sense. Okay, and the reason for that is it will make it much easier for you to put the gimmick on or the other pin for that matter, on the magnet and retrieve it again afterwards. So, but I steal out the gimmick and immediately place it on the magnet this time as the spectator is unhooking the pin and taking off the ring that I have asked them to. So now I can come out and show my hands empty. Remember, the spectator is holding these two. So I can show my hands empty as we talk about what they're having in their hands, blah, blah, blah. We'll get into presentation later on. And as soon as they've seen my hand, it's empty, or I've wiped my brow or adjusted my glasses, something like that, my hand swings down and I steal the pin once more. So now I'm in the position from before where I have it in my finger rest, finger palmy position here. And then I go into the exact same thing as you saw before. So just two different variations if you want to show your hands clean before the thing, or if you don't, completely up to your performance style. So, stealing the pin, placing the other pin in my hand, hand swings down, place it, do this, go back up. Let's do the first link. This is what I like to call dexterity for everyone, because I'm in charge of my own titles for the different moves in this project. So hey, let's have fun. What I like to do is start out with a very open display. Now, just to recap, you've just opened the tin, pulled out the real pin with the ring on it, handed it to the spectator and done the switch. So you have the gimmicked pin in your right hand and the ring fingering in your left hand. Okay, so I like this open display. You don't have to do this. This is mostly for when performing for other magicians. I do this so they're completely sure that there's no extra things in my hands. You can also just hold out your hands like this and show the pin in the ring. Now, what's important here, the most important thing is that the fingering is on the middle finger of your left hand and the middle joint of that particular finger. The reason for that is when I close my hand, I want to make it look as if I'm just closing my hand around it, so the ring is somewhere in there. But in reality, I need to keep exact track on where that ring is in my hand, because in a second, without looking, I'm going to have to link this gimmicked safety pin onto the ring. And what the spectators are supposed to see is this, me closing my hand, putting the safety pin into my hand, letting go of the safety pin so it melts through, and now they're suddenly linked. But if I don't control the ring or the position of the ring, then this will be really hard. So I sort of finger palm the ring as I close my hand. So now it's at this position in my hand, okay? And I'll try to do it from this angle. So it's at this position in my hand. I close my hand around it, but I don't close it into a tight fist. I close it more like this. It's going to be more like only the outer joints of the finger that's actually bending. And then I take the pin, I place it into my hand, and this is an important position. When the pin goes into my hand, I place the gimmicked side of the pin, and this is important. The slit in the pin has to be on the right side, on my right side, your right side as you're performing it. So over here, okay? If it's over here, it won't work. It has to be over here. And it's very easy for you to see, because you know when you have it in your hand, you know what to look for. The spectators don't, so they won't see it. So I close my right hand, keeping control of the ring here, and then I put the pin into my hand like this, and this is when it happens. My thumb will push on the pin here, just on the opening, so it will push the pin in. My right hand will actually twist a little bit, just a fraction of an inch, like this. So the pin will link onto the ring, like this. And it's just it's a feeling thing. You will know this when you play around with it. But again, to the spectator, it looks as if you put the pin into the hand like this, but in reality, you link it as soon as you place the pin in. And it's just this is really, really easy, but it's very hard to explain. But as you try this a few times, you'll be able to find the right spot to place the pin to make this work for you, okay? And the thumb is doing most of the work here. So, as I've placed the pin in my hand and I've linked it onto secretly, I'm doing this very demonstratively to show you how I'm doing this. This can be done very, very smooth as you place it on, just smooth like this. No one sees any motion on the fingers. Now, what happens next is my ring finger twists the ring a little bit, so it pulls on it with this part of my finger here. So it pulls on the ring a little bit because I don't want the ring to be completely horizontal. That's not horizontal, vertical. I don't want the ring to be completely vertical. I want it angled to make room for the pin to just slide down. And I'll show you that again. So the pin is linked on the ring. And now I pull the ring just a little. This is all happening while my fingers are closed. So it's just a small movement like this. There's not back and forth, but just once back. Okay, so like this. So I can now let go of the pin, or let go of the pressure up here so the pin slides down. And now what's happening is I'm going to give the impression that this is not a magical slide. This is not me penetrating steel through steel. This is more of a dexterity thing. This is me showing off skill on par with the person that takes the stem of a cherry and puts it in their mouth and does this, looking sexy and tying a knot on the thing, which is awesome in some places and disgusting in others. But it should be something like this, more that people look at me doing something that's, wow, in a second he can open the pin in his hands. And remember, this is not me saying it, but in a second he opened the pin in his hands, put the ring on, closed the pin again, and threw it in his hand, and now it was suddenly linked. So this is more of a skill-based thing than a magical moment for me, okay? Just to show them that, that I have skill. And that makes it much stronger in a second when I melt off the ring at a different part of the pin. So that's basically it. So I do the wiggly motion just for half a second or something like that, and then I go, and now the ring lands linked to the pin in my hand. Now this is important because everyone will look at the pin and the ring, and some might go grab it immediately. You don't want that to happen. You want complete control of this since it's a gimmicked pin. So at this point you don't want them handling it. So what I immediately do is I pick up the pin by the top, by the portion that's normally where you open the safety pin, and I look at the pin at the bottom, and I see if the gimmicked side, the one with the opening, is on my right, because that is where I want it. Okay, I don't want the gimmicked side on my left. That's a no-no. You want it on your right. Okay, and you want the pin tilted this way so the ring hides the fact that there's a hole in the pin. So if you tilt it this way, then there's a big chance that the spectators might catch this, so that's not good. So you want to pick it up and tilt it like this. Now you know what to look for. You know it's a gimmick pin, first off. They've just had a real pin in their hand that they've opened, and so to them it wouldn't be possible to have a hole at the bottom of the pin, because if you had, the pin would fall apart. If you take a pair of pliers and cut a regular pin there, the pin will fall apart. So that won't work. That's logic. That won't work. So they won't suspect this. But if you hold it like this, you're clear. This is pretty much angle proof if people are looking from above. So they won't see a hole, and it's a fair display. It's a clean display. You can also hold it by the side like this with your left hand, so now they can actually see that the pin isn't opened, that it's closed and locked. So this is the first penetration, dexterity for everyone. Very fun, very simple to do, very difficult to explain. Seems like there's a lot going on, but it's actually really, really simple when you get the basic understanding of it and try it out in your hands. Enjoy! So you have the ring linked onto the pin like this. So the gimmicked side of the pin is on my right, or your right as before, and the ring is dangling, covering all the dirty stuff that no one should see. Okay, so you want the pin angled like this. Now my hand moves in front of the ring, and what it's supposed to look like, and there's a bit of a discrepancy here, but it flies by when you perform it. It's supposed to look like me taking the ring up like this and then melting it through the side of the ring, the pin, like this. But what's going on in reality is, in very exposed view, me twisting the ring as I move it up like this. Of course, this wouldn't work because everyone sees what's going on. But this is the basic mechanics of it, that the ring is being twisted to the left. Does that make sense? I'm not twisting it to the right, I'm twisting it to the left, away from my left hand. So the front end, the one that's currently facing towards you, is being twisted to the left. So it's the back side of the ring, the part that's towards me, gets pushed out of the opening like this as I move my hand up. But all of this is happening behind my hand, like this, as I do this. Okay, I'll do that once more, because there's more going on than that. So this angled pin is going to be more vertical. So I'm gonna do this as my hand covers the pin and the ring, and I twist it, move it up, pull it off. I'll go into details about this in a very exposed view in a second. But at the same time, my right hand is re-gripping. Okay, so lots of stuff going on here. And the reason it's re-gripping the pin is because I want to hide the gimmicked part under disguise of showing, not telling, but showing that the pin isn't open, and making it very clear that it isn't open. So as I hide, cover, and twist the ring, and move it up, my fingers move down and cover the gimmicked end of the pin like this at the same time, and I blow and very slowly melt the ring through the middle of the pin, of the left side of the pin. So let's do this part again. Hand goes underneath, fingers on the right side, thumb, that's also a finger by the way, but the other fingers and the thumb on each side of the ring. I twist and make the ring go clear of the pin. Push my fingers, and this happens all at once. I push my fingers backwards and the ring out, using my fingertip and my thumb actually as a guiding point on the pin, like this, up here. And at the same time, my ring finger goes and covers the pin, and the pin is getting pushed into the fleshy part of my finger here, the gimmicked end of the pin. And my fingers move down. I try to grab this with my ring finger on the outside and the thumb on the back, okay? I think I might do this a little bit different from time to time because I've used all my fingers, but this would be the ideal position. Pull my my index finger back and my ring and pinky back, so I'm holding it very cleanly. Move the ring up here, and then I put focus on it by moving my head closer and blowing. If people are standing right in front of me and it's COVID season, I won't blow in that direction, but then I'll just look at it and I'll move my fingers aside. And now you want the pin to follow the ring, so it looks like it's coming out from the exact center of the ring. Okay, so you don't, if I angle it like this, you don't want to do this, pulling them like apart at an angle. You want to pull it apart like this, okay, but aimed at the spectator's eyes. So you want to, but that's like, yeah, that is not necessary. You just need to pull them apart very slowly and magically, like they're melting through. And I always make a sound. I go something like that, because again, I make sounds. But this is like a really beautiful penetration of the two pieces of metal. So basically, it looks like this from behind. Okay, let's do that again. Again, very hard doing in slow motion. Okay, like that. Really, really beautiful. Practice, practice, practice. It's a bit difficult, this one, but it really looks good. This is the explanation for the move Spiralicious. Let's get into it. This is a very basic move, but performed correctly, it looks really beautiful. The cool thing about this is you can perform it in your own hand, on the table, or in the spectator's hand, as I love to perform it, because it's just, you get so good reactions from people when the link happens in their hands. And it looks, you just saw it, but let's go through it again, and I'll try to explain as good as I can how to do this. Now, you have the gimmicked pin in your right hand, okay, and you want this at an angle. I'm not good at angles, but you don't want it vertically, you don't want it horizontally, you want it somewhere in the middle, like this. 45 degrees, I hear in my earpiece. 45 degrees is what you want to go with. And then the ring, in this case, it's on my hand. Let's start with this. Then you want to go clockwise with the pin, okay, like this. And this is a fun thing to practice at home. You can just sit going like this, and then you want to spiral in on the pin, okay? And when you're about here, it doesn't matter how many times you do this, it's completely up to you. I normally do like one, and then on the second I spiral in and I pick up the ring like this, okay? But you want to pick up the ring at, let's say the ring was a clock face lying on your hand. So this is 12, this is 6, this is 3, this is 9. You want to pick up the ring at around 3 or 4, okay? At around 3 or 4, so 12, 1, 2, 3 or 4. This is the point you want to pick it up, because this is where it just matches up perfectly with the pin and the ring when you go in this motion. If you want to pick it up here, then there's a chance that you'll tip the ring and it'll catch the side of it. That's not good. So you want to go and pick it up about here and keep moving the spiral upward. So it's just, you need to practice it and find the right spot. So something like, yeah, that wasn't good. See, as explaining this, it's really difficult, but you want to hit it at around 3 or 4, and that's it. So just think of it as that. This is a watch face or clock in your palm. Not a digital one, because then it wouldn't make sense. You want like an analog watch face, and yeah, it's just that 45-degree angle on the pin, like this, and you go, and then at 3 or 4. You go down and you link it, okay? So this link, you don't have to use the spirally motion when you do this. You can also just go straight in and link the pin to the ring. This is like a move, I think I saw that link used with 2 safety pins by either Duvivier or someone else, showing that on, I don't know, some television program years ago, as far as I remember. Just going down and picking it up. But to me, it's too much of a giveaway to do this out in the open, at least with a ring. So I wouldn't prefer doing that, but just it's an option. You can play around with it. But I think it gets camouflaged a lot more when you do the spirally thing. There's too much going on for people to actually see when the link happens when you do this. But it's just, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful way of linking the pin to the ring. Now, this is not something I perform, but just for completion's sake, I'll show you how to unlink using the spiral motion. And I only do this in my right hand when I do it, but it's very, very rare or seldom that I bring this out. But it looks like this. After I've picked up the ring like this, I spiral the other way around, and then I unlink the ring like that. So I spiral, pick it up, and then I unlink it like this. Okay, I think it's too knacky, and there's a good chance that it'll make sound and look a little bit wonky. But to show you how it works, so the ring is on the pin, and then I place my middle finger of my right hand, and sort of, how do I say this? I place it in the opening of the pin here, so it touches the fleshy part of my right thumb. Okay, so it's still my index finger is still holding on to the pin with the thumb, but my middle finger goes into the opening and touches the fleshy part of the thumb. And my nail goes in as well, so in a moment I can press and thereby push up on the pin. And look, when I push up, this happens. Okay, I make an opening in the pin like this. It's like a fish, like breathing, or not breathing. I don't know what fish do, but it's just like a hello. I'm a little safety pin fish. You should cut this out. This won't make the cut. This is very bad for your product. I don't know. I'm getting tired. This is it. So by adding pressure, I open up the pin and the ring falls off. We're going to use this for another unlink later on. But when I do this, I spiral the other way around. So instead of going clockwise, as when I pick up the ring, I go counterclockwise. And as I go here and hit about 11 or 12 on my imaginary clock face, I lay down the ring as I pinch with my fingers and open up the ring. And then at 4 or 3, I unlink, okay, if that makes any sense. So picking it up, I link at around 3 or 4, move it upward, and then I go counterclockwise, and as the ring gets to around 10 or 11 over here, I place it down on my hand, I do the unlink, and I unlink at around 3 or 4. This is very difficult to explain, but not that difficult to perform. So that's just for completion's sake. Now you have a link and an unlink in this spirally fashion that looks very beautiful if done correctly. Good luck and enjoy. This is the explanation for I'm going in, as I call it. It looks like this. Pin and ring in my hand. I blow, and the pin melts through the ring and lands in my hand. That's it. So the starting point for I'm going in, exclamation point, is as before, the gimmicked part of the pin is on my right side, and the ring is covering the hole like this. The pin is angled at a 40-45 degree angle, sort of like this. Now I place the ring and pin in my hand, and this is pretty much a reverse of the one we did before, where the dexterity for everyone move, where I place the pin in and I link the pin onto the ring like this. In this case, it's the other way around. I place the ring and the pin, and I press and I unlink the ring and the pin like this. Okay, so it's pretty much the same move, but let's go into the details just to be sure that everyone's following along. So I place the ring and pin in my hand, and now I want to go for the same position as before. I want the ring at approximately the middle joint of the middle finger of my left hand. And this is important. I don't want the ring twisted like this. When I grab it, I go with my finger and I grab the ring and twist it this way, okay? This way. Just like when I pulled the ring off at at the other section where you melt the ring off the middle of the pin. So I go in and I grab the ring like this, place my thumb on this section here with the pin, and then my index finger will push this time. Instead of the thumb pushing the pin onto the ring, the thumb will hold onto the pin and the ring together with my middle finger, and my index finger will push this direction to unlink the, let me show you this in an exposed view without the finger. So the index finger will push and unlink the pin this way. And to help the index finger do that, my ring finger will pull away from the thing. And you don't want like a huge sound like that, like we just did. But because the thumb is pressing, you can control the movement of the fingers, so it looks like this. Okay, as my let me show you this in more exposed view. So you can control the movement like this. So the thumb is pushing, and the index finger is pushing towards myself, as the ring finger is pulling away. It's really hard doing in slow motion, but it looks like this in real life. Okay, so now I get it off, and at this moment, what happens is the ring finger, just like in the other move, my ring finger pulls a little bit to get the ring out of the way. My thumb slowly and very softly loosens its grip on the pin and lets it fall downward like this. Maybe it helps it a little bit if it's stuck. So it can melt through the hand, and I hold out my right hand underneath. If I really trust the spectator that I'm performing for, and I feel that they're in my complete control, I can let the pin fall into the hand. The problem here might be, well, except the fact that they might actually see the opening on the pin, would be that they drop it on the floor. So this is very rarely I do this. You saw me do it in front of Mitch because I felt like I knew where I had Mitch in the performance. Normally I hold out my right hand, my own right hand underneath, and I let the pin melt through, or just loosen the grip up here so it slides down and lands onto my hand. This way I can catch it and control it myself, and also immediately I can open my left hand and block the view under the guise of showing my the ring on my hand. So I open up my hand as I cover the pin underneath. So they just saw the pin fall down, and then I open my hand to show this. So this is the I'm going in section of the link and unlink phase of this project. This is my absolute favorite thing to perform on the whole project that you're watching right now. This is called Hawkeye. Fireworks. Oh, cute. Wow. Wow. And we're inside an apartment. Wow. That looks so cheap, but it's not. It's more expensive than my plane ticket. Or the shrapnel set that you're holding in your hands. It's like, but it looks cheap now. Everything I teach on shrapnel, I use in the real world, not just in a studio setting or a kitchen setting like it says in my contract. I only film in kitchens, in Airbnbs somewhere in the world. No, I perform all of this in the real world, but I want to be completely honest. Hawkeye that I'm about to teach you, the move you just saw, I don't always perform this, and there's many settings where I'll never try to do this. I mostly do this on camera because it's not 100% sure. It's way less than 100% sure because you really need a steady aim, a good aim, and steady hands to perform this. I do it in real life, and sometimes I miss, and then I try again, and if it doesn't work, I go to a different part of the routine. But when it works, it looks amazing, and you get really, really good reactions from doing this. But because I can't do this in slow motion, since it's me throwing a ring, I'll do this I'll act out the slow motion with my hands, and you'll see a slow motion video of me doing this while I'm talking. But this is what it looks like. I angle the pin at a 45-degree angle, and Right now I'm angling it from the side so you guys can see it, but I want to do this more like head on for the spectator when I'm doing this. Okay, so, and that's because I don't want to show this side of the pin. So keep that in mind. I'm angling this more towards the eyes of the spectator when I do that, but now for exposing the view, I'll show it to you like this. But what's going to happen is my right hand with the pin angled at about 45 degrees will be completely still. I help this out by pressing my elbow into my ribs like this to hold the hand completely still. And then my left hand will throw the ring, okay? And this is not like a half a meter. You can do this if you practice this, but I'm about, I don't know, 10, 15 centimeters away when I do this, okay? And I place the ring on my middle finger and I let it slide a little bit off so it's resting on my index finger. So index finger and middle finger. And then in a second, I'm going to throw the ring and I'm going to throw it so it stays in this position. It's not going to spin like, it's not one of those things you want to do. It's going to travel in a straight arc like this all the way up and it's going to hit the pin right here. Okay? So for all you move monkeys out there, this is going to be so satisfying when you get it down. And it really is satisfying when you can do this several times in a row. But the ring will go up and link onto the pin like this. Okay? And that sounds so easy, but it takes practice. And you'll need to practice this many times. Good suggestion will be do this on top of a bed. Because if you do this on the floor, you'll have to go down and pick it up many, many times. Just like when you perform different or difficult card moves or coin moves and stuff like that. But it looks something like this. Okay, so that's how you link the ring onto the pin. Now, maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't because of the speed of the video, but something happened in the beginning that I don't like, and that's when the ring gets stuck in a position like this, and that's because of the spiral in the or the thing, I don't know what it's called, in the pin. If this happens, you quickly move the pin. You can't even do it when it's stuck like this. If this happens like this, you quickly move your hand forward like this and angling the pin downward instead of at a 45-degree angle. Then you go down here, so it makes the ring rest on the bottom of the pin instead of the side of the pin. Okay, so as soon as you hit the pin on the ring, or the ring strikes the pin, you angle the pin forward. So like this. Okay, so this is the way to do it. It's very difficult, but if you practice this, this will be something that's so fun to perform. And yeah, and it's especially good on video since you can do like a million takes if you want to. So I'm melting might be the easiest thing you will learn on this project today, especially since I've already taught it in one of the other moves. But just for completion's sake, this is how I get out of the Hawkeye move after I've like done the mid-air link of the ring and the pin. I hold the pin with my index finger and my thumb at the top. The opening of the pin is on my, well, it's not on my right, it's more towards my body this time because I'm angling the pin this way towards the spectator. So the opening is over here on the back side of the pin. And then I take my middle finger and I put it into the opening between the two arms of the pin. Okay, so now my nail is also underneath. That's important for the move to move slowly, smoothly, something like that. So I press my middle finger against the fleshy part of my thumb, and by doing that, I open up the pin like this. Okay, I open up the pin like this. So the small fishy mouth that we talked about earlier, and it's just easy. And then it's a timing thing. You don't want to do like a big shaky motion with your hand. Just want to press and blow, and then the focus will be on the pin moving up towards your mouth, and you go, okay? And that's the reason why I'm aiming the pin like this towards the spectator's eyes instead of this, because if I do this, there's a big chance they might see the opening. So I won't do this if I'm surrounded. I probably won't do most of the moves being surrounded anyways. So now the pin falls down, or the ring falls down in my hand, and then I let go of the pin. And normally I catch it. But just to show you guys that I'm also just a human being that make mistakes, I'll keep this one in. So you're now at the position where you've done the I'm melting part, and you've melted off the ring into your hand. You've dropped or placed the pin in your hand and not missed, because of course no one misses, because we've been practicing a lot. So you're in this situation, pin and ring in hand, and it's not clean. This is the gimmicked pin, so no one can touch it. And as soon as the performance is over, people will try to grab this from your hands. So what do? Several ways of getting out of it. To me, my character, and maybe some of you guys, you can get away with bowing. And remember, when I do this, it's with a glint in my eye. This is not a serious, look at me, I'm a great performer. It's more of a, thank you so much, and I bow. And the reason I do this is naturally my hand can move behind my butt, and I can place my fingers on the pin. So I can get ready for the switch in a second that I'll teach you. So I go for the pin. And as I bring it out with my hands like this, I keep it secretly in my fingertip rest position. And as I do that, immediately as my hand comes out, I perform what's known as a shuttle pass. So I do this, and now I hand the ring and pin, which is now the real pin that's not gimmicked, to the spectator, secretly retaining the gimmicked pin in my left hand fingertip rest position down by my side. I'll go into details about the shuttle pass move that I use here, but this is basically what's happening. An important thing to note is after I've performed the shuttle pass, where I've switched out the gimmicked pin for the real pin and handed it to the spectator. This hand, the left hand with the gimmicked pin in, that's a dirty hand, okay? And if you're not very familiar with hiding or palming stuff in your hands, you can feel guilty at this point, because you're keeping like a huge secret in your left hand, and you want to do like this is your instinct probably. You want to hide that hand. You want to get it away. Maybe you want to look at it because you want to make sure that no one can see the pin in your hand. Don't do that. That's a dead giveaway. You need to just relax. Hold your hand down by your side with the pin in your fingertip rest position. Maybe press your thumb against your index finger to sort of hide the gap where someone might be able to spot the pin, and hold your hand against your side. If you do that, nothing's going to go wrong. If you've executed the shuttle pass correctly, no one will think that you're hiding anything in your hand. In a second, I'll teach you how to get out of it and get the pin away in two different ways. But firstly, let's get into the shuttle pass. So the shuttle pass is basically a coin move that I first saw performed by legendary coin magician David Roth. Just an amazing thing with switching out one coin for another. But basically it's this. My left hand, let's move the right hand out of the equation. My left hand, in a second, as it turns face down, I'll place my thumb on the safety pin. To not here, but up here towards my finger. So if the pin is not there, I will move it around and over there, or jiggle my hand so it's more in that position. Maybe close my hand and just move them like this physically, because I want to be able to touch the pin around this place on my fingers. Okay. So, but as I do this, because, which probably makes sense, but just to be completely clear, because I pin that's a wrong use of the word, but if I press the pin towards my fingers, or against my fingers, as I turn my hand over, the ring will fall off and the pin will stay behind. Okay, just to like make this very clear. So it looks like this. So several things are going on here at the same time. My left hand will turn face down, or palm down, sorry, will turn palm down, as my right hand will turn palm up. So at the same time, this will happen, okay? The left hand will cover the right hand, so the view of the right hand will be covered by the back of my left hand fingers. And as soon as the pin in my right hand fingertips come into view, I'll drop the ring on top of it. And because people just saw the ring together with a pin in my left hand, and they now see the ring together with a pin in my right hand, they'll assume that it's the exact same pin. Don't worry about the orientation of the pin, how it's turned and twisted and stuff like that. No one will notice, because this is an offbeat moment. You've just bowed. You've just bowed. People are expecting the trick to be over. So I just do the shuttle pass, and I hand the pin and the ring to the spectators at this point. So you've just performed the shuttle pass, and now you're ready to hand out the pin and the ring to the spectator. Now, keep in mind you have the secret gimmick pin in the left hand, and as I talked about earlier, don't be afraid. As long as you relax, no one will suspect anything. And all your focus is on these two objects in your hand that you're handing to the spectators. Now, I usually give them something to do to make this even more interesting, so there's less of a chance that they look this way. And don't worry, I'll tell you how to get rid of this in 2 different ways in a second. But as I hand out this set to the spectators, I say, now let me see you do it. And then they laugh, because no one can do it like I just did it. Because of course I'm cheating and doing things that I've practiced for a long time. That's obvious for the spectator to see. But it's also fun to ask them and say and phrase it like this. Say, now how would you get the ring on the pin? And if you phrase it like that, they will 9 out of 10 times open up the pin, put the ring back on and close it again. And then you can look them dead in the eye and say, well, okay, yeah, that's stupid that I spent so many years practicing that other stuff. And then you laugh, have fun. And now when you do that, that's an offbeat moment. People will relax, laugh, or look at the things, look at their friends, and you can immediately, with the pin in your left hand, just slowly put your hands in both of your back pockets at the same time. This is a very relaxed motion. Fingers into the pocket like this, and then you let go of the pin. And in a second, you can move out your hands again, and you're ready to do something else. So let's say you're in that situation where you ditch the pin in your left hand pocket. Now, people are done. They've put the ring on the pin. Maybe they want to play around with it for a while. Let them do that. That's just fun. If they can, like, you're clean now. And they can't do what you just did, so they'll try and make it work like a Chinese puzzle or something like that. And when you're ready, just bring out your tin, open it, place the ring and pin together inside. If they're apart, you can just link them, place them inside, put this in your pocket, and when you move towards another table, or if you're just performing for one group of people and you don't need to perform immediately again, then whenever you have the chance, just put your hand in your pocket, bring out the gimmick pin, put it in the other pocket, in the tin or underneath the tin, whatever you see fit. So that's one way of going about this. And I'll bring this into play again, if you're in a situation where you need to perform immediately, let's say you do table hopping and you need to reset this, then there's a different way of going about it. So let's say the tin is in your pocket, gimmick pin is in your left hand, and this is where the spectators are trying to figure out how to either unlink it again, or opening it, putting it on, whatever they're about to do. So as they are keeping their focus on the ring and pin, you do sort of a wiped clean motion with the pin in the left hand. So this is one way of doing it. So you can just place your hand, you have the pin in fingertip rest position, so you can just place your hands, fingers together like this, and just wipe off, and immediately finger palm-ish the pin like this. So you wipe it off like this. This is a very exposed view. It will look like this down here. So hands move together like this, and you just wipe off and steal the pin. This is offbeat, so no one's going to be looking at your hands like this. And then with the hand, go into the pocket, steal the tin out and place the pin underneath the tin. Or even better, this is because this is way too magician-y for most people, you can keep the pin in your hand, and while they're playing around with the pin and the ring, you just go into your pocket, pull out the tin. Now you have the tin in your hand, place it onto the pin, and this is where it gets a little bit knacky, because what you want to do is, you could hear the sound there, what you want to do is keep your finger on the one end of the pin, and as you turn your hand over, you want to slide the tin onto the pin, so you don't want to get a like that sound. That's a dead giveaway. But if you slide it onto the pin, then it's much safer and there's not a lot of sound. And then again, as magician David Williamson calls it, restaurant noises. We need more restaurant noises. When you're out in the real world and people are talking and laughing, don't be afraid. There's no need to be that careful, because like it could be like cutlery or whatever clanging in the corners. So don't worry about that. But in an exposed view, so this is in fingertip rest position down by your side. I bring out the tin, and as I turn my hand around, I clip the pin towards my fingers like this, and I just slide the tin onto the pin like this, okay? So now I can open the tin, and because of the magnet, the pin will stay hidden underneath. So I can open the tin up, being sure not to show the magnet, and then I can take the ring and pin back, place it in the tin, close the tin, and put it in my pocket with the magnet underneath. So now I'm ready for the next table, if I'm performing table hopping, or if I know that I'm going to different groups at the same event. So that's basically the basic routine for shrapnel. And keep in mind, you can pull out whatever moves you want. Here you can make it a very simple, like just a one-phase link, unlink routine if you want to. It's completely up to you. It doesn't have to be all these different moves. I switch it up from time to time when performing, pull out something that I think won't work in this particular situation, like the Hawkeye move. I don't always use that because let's say it's in a dark place or it's outside and there's a manhole cover or something nearby. I don't want accidentally losing the ring, my own or a borrowed ring if I'm using a borrowed ring. So keep in mind, you don't have to follow this as a recipe. You can mix it up and do whatever you want with it. But I hope you enjoy the routine, and now let's get on to some of the extra stuff that's also really, really awesome if you ask me. Welcome! So, right now we're sitting at a table, or so it would seem. Because this isn't a table, this is an illusion, but I won't break it because it looks great as it is, and if I move it might fall apart and I'll break a toe or something. But this is a seated section. I'll be talking a little bit about lapping and about other stuff. The first thing I'll talk about is the one-hand man switch, or the one-man hand switch, depending on how the words chose to come out of my mouth. You've seen that in the performance where I used the switch before I did the Hawkeye move. But basically what it is two pins. The key pin, or the gimmicked pin in my right hand. I'll go into the nitty-gritty details of where to place it exactly. And the regular pin also in my hand, and the switch looks like this. Whoop. So this is not a switch that you do right in front of people's eyes. This is a switch that's meant to be done offbeat, since something is definitely going on. And to be honest, I don't perform this very often. I just think it's a really, really fun move. It has like a windmill feel to it. It's something turning around and the switch working like that. But basically what I do is I take my index and middle finger of my right hand and I clip the bottom portion, or the gimmicked side of the gimmicked pin with the hole in the pin facing my right. Okay, so I clip it like this, and then I'll just turn my body a little bit here, and then with my right hand I take the second pin and hold it at the bottom as well, like this, and hold it between my thumb and my middle finger. And this is a weird move, but it looks natural when you hold it like this. And then again, most people, they don't handle safety pins on a daily basis, so what are they to say about how you hold a safety pin? You can hold a safety pin the exact way you want to hold a safety pin. But to me, I feel this is an okay, natural way to hold a safety pin. So what's going to happen in a second is I'm going to loosen my grip on my right thumb, and the safety pin will start falling down and turning downward. And at the same time, I will move my thumb and index finger, middle finger against each other, so I'll sort of like push the pin. So as it's going down here, I'll push so it goes into my fingers, and my ring finger will pick up the pin and pull it in, and at the same time my thumb and index finger will have the other pin, the gimmick pin, rotate, and my middle finger will help that motion. And this is very hard doing in slow motion, so I dropped it there. But once again, the normal pin will pivot and swing down, my ring finger will pull it in, and my thumb, index and middle finger will swing out the second pin. And that's basically the switch. And remember, this is not something you want to do right in front of people's eyes. And it is a fidgety move. It won't work exactly how you want it unless you really, really practice this. So this is not the switch I would use for your daily walk-around routine with shrapnel. I would definitely use the back pocket switch or one of the other switches that we'll be talking about. But it will look something like this. And the pin will swing out. I can do that one more time. So, and it helps if the pin that you're palming with your index finger and middle finger is not straight against the fingers. You want it angled out slightly, so your thumb can get underneath the pin to push it out like this. Okay, and you'll see this in the close-up footage of this as well. But it looks something like this, and then I swing out the other pin. So this would be something you did while addressing something else, like if someone over there is holding the ring, you say, "Oh, look at the ring. What does it say inside?" Blah blah blah. Something, whatever. Come up with something funny to say, or else look up The Lord of the Rings and just quote anything about the ring from that movie. That tends to make people laugh. So it looks like this. Pin swings down, the other pin swings out. Okay. You can also camouflage this by, let's say now we have the tin on the other side here. So if you want to do it, you can, if you're in a more relaxed state, you can grab. Let me set this up completely. And again, I will suggest do this in front of the camera most of the times. It'll work best in front of a camera. And then as I move the tin over here, or it could be my drink, or it could be the finger ring, then I did the switch. So now I have the other ring palmed here. Okay, so if you're sitting at a table and doing this is where the table surface comes into play. As soon as I've done this, I can now take the pin with my left hand, and as I do that, I get rid of the other pin that I hit in my hand. Okay, and this is like if you're like a magician and you perform regularly and you've been into magic for a while, you will know about lapping. Lapping is a very, very old and popular thing to do. I'm not the very best lapper in the world, I'll say that. If you really want to dig deep into this, check out Slidini. He's one of the really, really good original lappers, OG lappers, if you will. You can check out, I don't remember the name of the project, but Jan Frisch and Danny de Ortiz, they have, or Danny de Ortiz, they have, as far as I remember, a DVD project. Maybe we can put it here. So it's the name if someone wants to find that, or we'll put it in the credit section. That is a really, really good project on lapping and how to use this properly. But this is just to get you started and into the idea of using lapping with the pins. But what I basically do is, after I've done the switch, so the pin has swung down, I've swung out the other pin. As I take this, I lean back and relax, so my hand that's holding the secret pin that I want to get rid of in a second is close to the table, and then I take the other pin and I move it forward, and as I do that, my hand just relaxes on the table. It doesn't go underneath the table. There's nothing to hide here. Well, there is something to hide, but I'm not trying to do any suspicious movements. I'm just relaxing, moving my hand back, and this is an exposed view. As I come to the edge of the table, I just slowly let go of the pin, drop it in my lap. Okay, you might get problems here, because if you lap coins or something like this that's made out of metal, if you drop it, you'll hear a sound on the floor. So very important here, press your thighs together, okay? First point that's very important, press your thighs together. If you have the chance, if there's a tablecloth, you can pull the tablecloth out, sort of like making a place for the thing you lap, in this case the pin. That'll make it easier for you to do, so you don't drop it on the table. Sometimes when I'm out in the winter time, like it is right now here where we're filming, I will take my winter hat and I will like open it up or stretch it out and place it on my lap. Could be my scarf, could be something else. That'll just make like a nice pad for the thing you're lapping to drop into. So that's a really good way of doing that and practicing that when you lap the pin. So let's say you want to perform a full routine of shrapnel, but you're a magician that likes to sit down. Some of you are, I know. Personally, I like standing up because I can use my body, but I know for many people it's more natural to sit down and perform. Then you have an issue, because it's really hard getting to your back pocket and ditching stuff on a magnet and stealing from it again and so forth. So this is where you can use your lap instead of the magnet. What I do when I sometimes sit down and perform this routine, I pull out the tin. I have my gimmicked pin underneath or loosely in my pocket, depending on the situation. But I place the tin on the table, and as I do that, remember to keep a hold of the safety pin that you have underneath, so it doesn't do this thing. But as I put the tin on the table, I steal the pin off and place it on my thigh. I might also put the tin, or instead put the tin on the table, and then at some point take the gimmick pin out of my pocket and place it on my thigh again, so my hands are empty. Now, I'm right-handed, so I place it on my right thigh, and I be sure to sit still with my feet so I don't accidentally knock the pin off and onto the floor. So when I'm ready to perform, and I won't go through the whole routine since you've seen it and learned it already, but just some elements of it, I'll take out the pin and the ring, hand it to the spectator and say, now, how would you get this ring off the pin? And as soon as they start opening it and the focus is on there, I'll take my right hand, place it on the pin, and I'll thumb palm it. Okay, so the thumb, some thumb palm, maybe a thumb clip. I'm not sure what to call this, but like you would a coin. So basically, I pick up the pin underneath the table and I put it in the crotch of my thumb and my index finger here. Okay, one of the short ends, so I don't try to palm it on the long edge, but one of the short ends like this. Which one doesn't matter, completely up to you, whatever you get a hold of when you go down there. So now the pin is in my thumb palm, and I'll rest my fingers on the table. So they'll take off the pin. Normally they'll close the pin. Most people close the pin after doing that. If they don't, I'll say, just, can you close the pin for me? They close the pin, put it back on the table. This is really hard doing with my left hand. So they'll put it back on the table, and as soon as they do that, I go to grab the pin with the thumb palmed gimmicked pin in my hand. So I'll go to grab the pin, place my fingers on top, put all my attention on the ring as I drag this back, try to put my thumb as far underneath the table as I can, because all my focus will be here anyways. So just drag the pin off, close my hand and lap the pin in my thigh, and put my fingers and close them around the gimmicked pin that I previously had thumb palmed. So again, in real time, it'll look like this. I go to grab the pin. As I pull it back, I put my focus on the ring here, ditch or lap the pin in my hand, turn my hand over, and push the gimmick pin into my fingertips. So now I've switched out the pin the spectators just examined for the gimmicked pin. So now I'm ready to perform the routine. And this is such an offbeat moment, and no one's expecting you to switch out anything at this moment. They don't even know you're about to perform a magic trick when you do this, probably. So this is just a nice and easy way of getting into it without having to use the magnet and the tin in the back pocket for this thing. Yes, so play around with it. It's a fun way of getting into the routine. Now, when you're done performing, however you end up the routine, as long as the pin and the ring is separated from each other, you can now do the same thing as we did in the stand-up version of it. You go down and steal the pin when you have the chance to do that. And just in this case, I'll just put it in a finger rest position on the table, so it's not palmed in the thumb thing here. And then I'll do the same shuttle pass move, hand this to a spectator on my right, and as I do that and stretch my hand out, I'll move my left hand back and not put it underneath the table, but I'll thumb palm the pin, move my fingers back and lap the pin. Again, remembering to close my thighs so I don't accidentally drop it on the table. Now, what happens if you drop it on the table? Most situations, there'll be noise. People won't hear anything, and if they hear a small clink, it could be from anywhere in the room. So don't worry about it. If that happens, just wait until you have a chance, give it a few minutes, and then, I don't know, drop a playing card on the floor. Pick it up, and then pick the pin up as well. Or act as if your shoes are untied, whatever. Or wait until your friends go to the bathroom. No one cares at this point. The routine's done, you can go into something else. So just pick up your safety pin whenever you get the chance. That's it. Okay, so to see the switch in real time, let's imagine that the spectators, they have already examined the ring and the pin, they've put it on the table, and now this is how I would do the switch. Okay, so I'll do this, and I'll say, let's get into the routine. And then whatever version I decide to do, I'm ready with the gimmicked pin. This is the explanation for frequent flyer, and let me be the first one to admit this doesn't work great on camera. The reason being that you need real misdirection to make this work. The thing is, the reason that I add this is because I really love performing it in real life for real people, and I really love the secret link of the non-gimmicked pin to the ring. And I think you can use this for many fun things. This is how I use it. What I do is, let me run you through the basics of it, and then I'll get into why it works in real life and not on a camera afterwards. So what I do is, I have the ring lying on the table to my right or in front of me, and then I have the pin more to the left, the gimmicked pin more to the left. This could be, if you wanted, two regular safety pins. You don't need the gimmick pin for this one at all. But in this case, I'm using a gimmick pin and a normal regular pin. So this pin is opened, and be careful performing this because you could prick your finger on this and it hurts. So I take no responsibility. This is a warning. Only do this if you feel comfortable using safety pins and working with them in your hands. I'm saying it now, you can hurt yourself, so please be careful if you try this at home. But I'll get into how you get into the position of the open pin in a second. But you have an open pin and you clip it at the same spot where you clipped the pin for the one-man hand switch that I taught earlier. So it's at this angle, okay? And you want to press hard together with the index finger and middle finger. And again, you don't want the pin completely against your fingers. This will make the closing of the pin in a second harder, okay? So that's the first step, at an angle like this. Okay. Now I can, if I stand, I can have my hand down by my side, but I usually perform this seated because I need to lap a pin in a second. There's different ways of getting around this if you're standing, but I prefer doing this seated. So I have my hands in my lap, maybe just one of the hands in my lap, and when I'm ready, I pick up the ring, and this is what it looks like. the link of the pin. Now I have linked the pin with one hand onto the ring in the other hand. And I'll show you in slow motion, as good as I can, over the shoulder how this actually looks. But the basic movements are these. Okay, so I pick up the ring. I hold it like this, opening or the hole towards the spectators. Then I put my focus on the spectator, I talk to them, I look them in the eyes. So this is something that you need to practice so you know exactly where your hands are in comparison to each other. You can't do this and look intensely at your fingers, so it takes some practice. But imagine this as if you did a French drop, not with the coin like this, but with the coin like this, okay? So I angle this at the spectators. Then my hand goes in front, and my fingers, outstretched fingers with the real pin, non-gimmicked open pin clipped, goes in front, and my thumb goes behind the ring, okay? So now, as my hand goes in front, I put the pointy end of the needle or the safety pin into the ring. And I take good care not to hurt my fingers. I've done this many times, and this might sound like bragging, but I haven't punctured my fingers yet, because I've been aware of where the needle is when I've done it. So just take care, practice slowly to begin with. So pick up the ring, move my hand in front as if I was to make a French drop, but I'm actually gonna take the ring with my fingers. But I'm gonna push, I'll do this in exposed view, I'm gonna push the pin all the way through the ring, and then this part of my thumb, what's it called? This place where the joint is on my thumb, I will press on the pin, but I won't press on the end or the prickly part of the pin. I'll press more around here. So as I do this, because my fingers are keeping a tight pinch on the pin up here, when my thumb presses here, the pin will go against my finger, not in between the two fingers, but against the fleshy part of the middle finger. This is a bit hard to explain, but I'll do this in slow motion so you can see it. So exposed view, now the ring moves up to my fingertips. So as soon as my fingers grab the pin, my thumb presses in on the pin and closes the pin, okay? And this takes some time to find the right amount of pressure and the right angle to push the pin in so it closes. But it's really easy. As soon as you get the knack of it, you can do this every single time, okay? Because the pin wants to close itself. That's how the pin is made. When you press them together, it wants to close itself. So exposed view again, I put it all the way through, I grab the ring with my fingers, and now, like almost automatically, this thumb presses this pin in and closes the pin, okay? So far, so good, okay? Now you're out of the danger zone here, so you won't accidentally hurt your fingers from now on. Now, what you want to do now is focus all your attention from their eyes down onto the pin here, okay? Put your thighs together if you don't have anything across your legs. So you can lap this pin by picking it up, and the way this works is I just place my fingers on top, drag towards the table edge, and this is important, I don't keep my thumb outstretched, okay? Because if I did this and pulled it off with my thumb outstretched, everyone would know what happened, that I just threw the thing into my lap. What you want to do is act out the motion of placing the fingers on the pin, pulling it off the tabletop, and then moving your thumb underneath as to grab it, okay? This is very important. It's like a French drop where you need to have your thumb behind your fingers because it gives the impression that you're actually holding on to something. If you do this when you do a French drop, people know you'll drop the coin. So if this makes any sense, what I'm trying to explain. But go down, act as if you pick up the safety pin, but in reality, drag it off the table, but put your thumb behind the fingers, acting out that you're holding on to the safety pin, okay? So now I pick this up, and as I do that, I put my attention back on either the ring or the spectator, depending on how the performance is. So now I have this situation, I have a pin here, then I look at it, and I act as if I'm really holding something in my hands, okay? And then I do a tossing motion up in the air, and I follow it with my eyes. And we as human beings, we're built this way. If we see a motion going in one direction, our eyes will automatically follow it. So if I do this and say, watch the safety pin, I follow it up and they look up in the air, and to them it's a vanish. Now, they're not supposed to believe that there's actually a safety pin going in slow motion through the air, but it's more like it disappears, and then I follow it in the arc, going down to my hand. And right about here, I do this move, and I'll teach you this in a second, and it looks like this. Okay, so this is the move. It's a very small motion with my hand. But when you saw it on the camera, you probably immediately noticed this, because you're looking at a small screen and you're focusing on everything at the same time, pretty much. The reason why this works in real life is that people are following with their eyes, they're following the motion of the invisible safety pin. So I have more than enough room and time to do this maneuver over here. So it will pop into existence right in front of their eyes, this pin. And you'll be amazed at the good reactions you can get from people when doing this. But let's get into the motion of the safety pin. So this is basically based on like it's a centrifugal force, as far as I know. So you swing something and it'll go all the way around, like if you're playing with a pendulum or something. We could call it the pendulum swing. Let's do that. So it looks like this, and it takes a little bit of time getting used to. And remember, it's not you don't swing your whole hand or your arm or your body. It's like you let go of the pin, and you'll get this in close-ups as well. But what I'm doing now, and this is actually important, I'm not holding the ring here. I'm pushing my fingers, my index finger, point of my index finger and the point of my thumb into the ring, like this. So I'm pinching the ring, but I want the fleshy part of my fingers to be far to the left edge of the ring, or the left side of the ring. So I'm covering most of the ring with my fingers, making it visible here. And then I'm holding the pin in here, like in what's this, a downs palm? This is, what do you call it?
It kind of looks like a downs palm.
Yeah, like what you would do with a coin, hiding it in here. Spoiler alert for any of you non-coin magicians. But it's the fingers hide the pin on the inside here, and you'll see this in the close-up as well. So as soon as I do this small motion with my hand, remember my eyes and the spectator's eyes are going in this arc up here. So as soon as I do this, my fingers loosen their grip, and I can't do this in slow motion, so you'll have to see this in real time, but my fingers loosen the grip, and the pin, I can show you in slow motion like this, and I loosen my grip slightly so the pin swings out, and as soon as it's about here, I pinch again with my fingers, and this will catch the pin in its swing and stop it here. And this is about timing. You need to practice this many times to find the right way to the right speed and the right amount of swing to stop it, so it's going in a vertical position. So you want to do this, okay? So picking up the pin that's actually been lapped, throw it up in the air, and then catch it over here, okay? So, I'd like to talk about the key pin, the special gimmicked pin that you have in your set. You've played around with it, you've had fun with it, you've mastered it, you're a skillful linking person, I don't know. This is a precision-made gimmick. Sounds funny since it's a very, very simple thing, but we've had this tested so much back and forth between the place that made them and Murphy's and me, and we've been having video meetings for a very long time deciding exactly how this pin should be made, because I have had very special requirements for it. But when you play around with this, you might have a few issues since they're all handmade, so they might not fit you perfectly. And you can tweak that, and you can make that work for you, definitely. But what you want to make sure is, when you look at your pin, you don't want too huge of a gap between the cut arm and the eye of the pin, if that makes any sense. So if you're in a situation where, let's say I'm tweaking this now and you can't see this because it's far away, but hopefully we can show you in a close-up in a second. But if the gap's too obvious, first off, there's a reason, there's a chance that the ring might fall off early, and that's not good. And secondly, it's much likelier that the gimmick portion of the pin will be spotted by a spectator, and you definitely don't want that. So what you can do in this case is gently bending the pin, and don't bend it out of shape because you'll probably never get it back to straight again. You want to be very careful doing this. And what I do is I hold on to the pin above the soldered portion of the pin here, so I don't add pressure to where it's fixed onto the other part of the pin. So all the pressure I add is on this arm, the arm that I'm about to bend now, and that's just to make sure that I don't accidentally break the gimmick. And then you want to very carefully bend the pin in place, okay? And you'll see this in the close-up in a section. And you want it to just pretty much touch the cut section on the other end of the pin, where it used to be connected to at the eye. So again, you want it to be as if they were still together. You don't want it off center, so it's sticking out either side. You want it to put it exactly where it was supposed to be before it got cut in half. And it's just fidgeting around with it, figuring out exactly where to place it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Play around with it. Be careful that you don't break it. And when you've done that, take a look at your regular pins, the ones that aren't gimmicked. This is for the purist. You don't need to think about this. But since they are real safety pins that's been made in a factory, they look alike, but sometimes you'll find a safety pin that's bent in a different way. Maybe it's more thin at this point because the way the eye has been bent is different than on the other pins. So if you have that issue, now these two, they actually look a lot like each other. But let's say you're in a situation where your pins look like this. Now they're different. And again, this is really for the purist. Only if you need to have this examined up until the minutest details. But if this happens, take the regular pin and just bend it in place. Like give it a few bends back and forth. See how you can easily make it look exactly like the other pin. But again, for the purist. I don't even know why I add this section to the video because there's no need for this. No one will see these two pins next to each other. So do this if you want. When you opened your tin, you found two precision-made gimmicks, and that's because Murphys are nice people. So they said, why not give them two gimmicks? And I thought that was a great idea because as a working magician, I know that sometimes you end up losing a gimmick, or if you use it every single day at all of your performances, at some point you might break it because it's a material thing that will break when you use it. But these should keep working for a very, very long time, but just in case, you have two gimmicks. Should you be in a situation where your gimmick breaks and you still want to use it, you can always find, because it most likely one of two places it will break is here or here, and it'll fall apart. This hasn't happened to me with these. It's only happened to me with like the original Andrus pins that I used many years ago. But should this happen to you, you can super glue it together. Just have to find the right super glue. I don't know, in different countries it's different kinds of glues, so I can't even show you what I suggest you use because you probably can't find it in your country anyways. But then you would take like a tool, could be like a small kitchen, not a kitchen knife. Don't use a kitchen knife. Maybe a butter knife or a pair of pliers if you have a thin pair of pliers. And you would pry open the metal part where it's attached. And you would super glue the two things together. And this is, precision work, and make sure that you don't get your fingers stuck to the needles. If you're not young enough to use super glue, then please ask a parent or a guardian to help you with this, because it can be dangerous working with this stuff. So make sure that you know what you're doing before you do this. And then super glue the thing together, and make sure that it's aligned correctly, the pin, when you do it. And now you at least have a makeshift version of the Andrews pin that you can, or the cut pin that you can use for at least a couple more performances. This won't last forever, this solution, but it's still a way of using your gimmick if you're in the need to do so. Good luck. So just an add-on to the gimmicked pins and making sure they don't break. That's actually one of the reasons that we added the tin to this project, because I've had different safety pin routines throughout the years of performing, and I've loved most of them because there's some really good routines out there. You should definitely go check out other safety pin routines, but most of them came with actually all of the ones I've tried came with just the safety pins and nowhere to store them. So I ran around with safety pins in my wallet and in my pocket, and that's not the best place to hide safety pins, because you sit on your wallet and you bang against your pockets with your hands, or sit on your pockets and stuff. So you end up bending these safety pins, and they can destroy your wallets and stuff like that. So that's why we decided to add, or one of the reasons we decided to add the tins, so you could carry them in your pocket. So please keep the gimmicked pin in your tin when carrying them around. That will make it last much longer, and you'll have more use and fun out of it for years to come. Let's talk about the ring. Now, I mentioned this earlier on the video, but this is intended basically as a practice ring. But to be completely honest, I use this ring, this particular ring, for most of my performances because it just looks like a normal ring, and I've gotten used to the size of it and how to use it. You can borrow rings when performing this. Be aware that if the ring is too thin, then it'll be easier to hide some of the links and unlinks. It'll be harder to keep the ring on the pin because it'll easier fall off, and if it's a heavier ring, it'll easier fall off the pin. So be aware of that when performing a routine like this. I suggest using rings that are curved, like a wedding band styled ring. I'm not suggesting that you borrow people's wedding bands or wedding rings. We'll get into that in a second. But the ring in the same style of a wedding band. That's at least many of the rings, like my own here. It's a curved ring. It has like a rounded edge, and it makes many of the moves easier, the links and the unlinks. You can use flat rings that are like flat all the way around, and you can use bigger rings. You can use rings with the big like rocks in them, or big like what do you call it, like Super Bowl rings. I don't know what they're called. Signet rings. I didn't know they were named that, but you can use signet rings. You can use all these different kind of rings, but, and this is really big, but I very rarely borrow rings. I know many magicians feel that the magic is stronger with the personal item. My experience is that when I borrow a ring, though, is that people tend to not focus as much on the magic that I'm performing, because they're actually afraid that I'll lose or hurt their ring. And I know this from personal experience. Whenever someone's borrowed my ring, even at magic conventions and stuff, when someone has borrowed my ring, I'm not fully focused on the routine, because I'm really scared that they'll lose my wedding ring. Because this means a lot to me. This has sentimental value, and it means a lot to me. Not to say that for some people their rings might be worth a lot of money. Some of their rings might include real gems in them. So if I were to borrow a ring, drop it on the floor, and one of those stones went missing, I would be in big problems because I would have to replace that stone if we couldn't find it, or pay for repairment of the ring. So I'm just saying this to not encourage you to, not discourage you to borrow rings, because if you're a magician and you have this completely in control and you know exactly what you do, feel free, do whatever you want. But personally, I very rarely borrow rings for the simple fact that I don't want to lose them by mistake or destroy them. And I don't want people to focus on their ring as a thing that might get lost during performance. Yeah, so I think that's basically what there is to say about this. But again, if you decide to use borrowed rings for this, please be careful with what links and unlinks you decide to perform. This might be obvious, but Hawkeye, the move where I throw the ring and catch it on the pin, I would never do that with a borrowed ring, except if it was maybe a family member and it was like on a carpeted area where I knew exactly where to find it if I dropped it. Because it would be like horrible being out at a paid gig and losing someone's ring that they really loved. Yeah, so I think that's it. But it can be done with pretty much any ring. Just keep in mind, not too thin rings and not too heavy rings. And just be careful when performing shrapnel with a borrowed ring. Now I'll put aside the grown-up Kim and let's get back to having fun.
Yeah, that went really well. It was good.
I sounded like a dad there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Could be because I am. Hopefully not to any of you watching. Except if you're my kids that actually found this video in 20 years and watched this, then I might be your dad. I should be your dad. I am your dad. Oh, I'm getting into trouble now. Most of the times when I perform shrapnel, I bring out the tin, I pull out the pin with the ring on it, and I go into the routine like this. This is like a nice trick for me to have in my pocket. It doesn't need to get any more difficult than that. But from time to time, I've found it useful to plant a regular safety pin on the location that I'm performing. This hasn't happened a million times, but it's happened often enough that I want to include it here, because I think it's a fun way of thinking creatively with how to make your magic look more organic. Let's say, for example, I had one instance where I knew that I was going to a specific cafe in Denmark, and this was like a retro cafe with like old paintings on the wall and like really weird carpets and art from all over the world and stuff like that. So I knew that bringing and planting a safety pin anywhere in that particular cafe would fly by anyone there. So when I came and sat at our table without my friends noticing, I took my safety pin and I just stuck it in a pillow next to me, just like this, because it looked like something that could be there, like everything was kitsch and weird and stuff. So I just had it there. We had some beers, we had fun, and at some point I went into the routine, and that particular situation I just used my own fingering, and then I said, "Oh, could you grab me that?" to my friend, and he just looked over and said, "The pin," and I said, "Yeah, sure," and he pulled it out, gave it to me, and then I got into the routine, switched it out with the gimmick ring, and suddenly I had this seemingly impromptu magical moment that I did, and after performing, I just took the regular pin, placed it back in the pillow, forgot about it, and left. And there was just such an organic way, in my opinion, to get into this routine. I just used my fingering and I used the safety pin that we found at the place. You won't get to do this every single time you perform this routine, of course, but be creative. Like if you live in a country where it's normal that you have like people dressing like punk rocks, and they have safety pins on their jacket, stuff like that. See if maybe you're lucky. I've actually tried this twice. It's happened that I've performed for people that had safety pins the same size and look as this. So I just borrow theirs. It's a possible thing. I go to a lot of concerts, so maybe that's why I'm lucky I ran into those groups of people. But that's a way of going about it. Maybe if you perform at a place where there's a bulletin board with different pins in it, like just take one of these, put it in there. Or maybe you're performing for your mom's friends and they have one of them have like a sewing basket with all these different things in it. Throw one of them in there and say, oh, sorry, is there anything in there we can use? Oh, a safety pin, let's try that. And that's actually why we've included several extra. You have 3 normal safety pins. So you can get away with losing one of these if you don't mind, or you just steal it later when no one's watching. So just to keep in mind, be creative and see if you can plant the pin somewhere. It's a nice way and a more organic way to get into the routine. Just a suggestion and an idea that you can play around with if you get the chance.